Why theology and counselling?
That's an interesting question. For me, I think it was the fact that the course was had the BACP accreditation. That was the first one, and then the other one was, well, I might as well. I'm Christian, and it gives me an opportunity to learn more about God. Yeah, so that's a simple answer.
So those two things. What was important about the BACP, that's the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy accreditation?
So before now, I've had a lot of coaching experience. I've had a lot of pastoral work, done, and quite a number of certifications in those areas, but nothing that had a regulatory body governing it. And so I wanted something that was ethical, and was well legislated, And
Yes, and it's something we're very proud of, because it means that we're working. It gives us a standard to work to, and to know that we are working to a high professional standard. Did you have in mind what you were hoping for when you started the course?
I didn't have very much in mind, but as soon as I started, I realized that it wasn't quite what I thought it was, I thought it was just going to be a build-up on the things that I knew already. What I didn't expect was that it was going to shatter everything that I knew already. Yes, and so I struggled at the start, It conflicted with everything that I thought coaching and counselling was. But then it didn't take too long for me to see that this is actually how things were meant and designed to work, And so, yeah, the start of it was very difficult, because it just seemed to contradict everything that I had known. Yeah.
Wow, so it took some perseverance to keep going.
Yes, it did. It did take a lot of perseverance to keep going.
And now that you're coming out at the end and about to graduate this weekend, what have you come out with?
First, over the 3 years, I've unlearned a lot of things, to be honest, I don't know where and how I ever imagined that what I knew before was sustainable. Yeah. Aside the theories, the interpersonal relationships, that I have built in the groups and with supervisors and tutors have formed everything that I know now, yeah. And I say counselling more than anything has shaped my theology, actually, yeah.
Can you say a bit more about that? Counselling has shaped your theology?
So we all have how we serve God, and sometimes it's very separate to the work that we find that we do. I see the intersectionality of, both now, more clearly, more glaringly. I have seen, most importantly, how the relationships are built, all right, and how these relationships have been fostered. I see how it's impacted who I am, not just with God, so we think of our relationship. Well, I've always thought my relationship to be very vertical, Now I see that I have a vertical responsibility, but I also have a horizontal demonstration of my vertical relationship.
So by vertical, you mean...
myself and God.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it how it's meant to be translated horizontally.
That sounds really important.
Very important, very important. And it's what I'm living by now.
Oh. So it's not just head knowledge?
No.
Would you say you're a different person now from when you... It sounds like that's what you're saying.
I'm a very different person. I'm a more in tune person, to those around me. I'm more in tune to myself, with myself, first. I've learned to search out the whys I do whatever it is that I'm doing, I have learned a lot of empathy, to give grace, and these are all the things that, being a counselor embodies.
You can only give what's in your heart.
Yes, absolutely, true.
So you're saying how you've changed. I wonder what continues. I wonder what your family would say. Are you still the same person?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. They saw me, and with people who live with you, it happens so saliently. You almost don't see it. But then when they give the testimony of who you are, they're like that. That's when it's like, oh my goodness, am I this person they're describing? And so I didn't maybe notice when the change started to happen, but I have seen how very changed my thinking is, very changed my approach to things are, and that's actually one of the most powerful things I'm taking away. Yeah.
So one of the things that I love about teaching here at LST is the groups of students that I get to work with year after year. And I love the diversity of the group and how almost, in age, in previous educational background, in previous life experience, in gender, in race, in culture, in church background, in ability and disability. There's difference in sexuality, there's difference everywhere. And I love the way that emerges in the group very, very much. And I wonder if you could say anything about your experience and how doing the course has been for you as a black woman.
I came apprehensive. And if there's one thing I want to recognize is how I didn't feel any prejudice whatsoever in the classrooms. And I suppose we're a potpourri of people, but they say everything rises and falls on leadership. I have felt seen as a black woman. I have felt very seen as one who came from Nigeria, and emigrated here. I have felt very seen by my tutors, in recognizing the difference and in helping me integrate, Yes, I have faced some form of racism, but it's beautiful to see that it isn't from the institution. Yeah. And I find that very empowering. Yeah.
Good. I think there's lots more to talk about with that. It's challenging. I think it's one of the challenges. One of the things I have enjoyed is reading what our final year students have written in their projects. And yeah, I mean, I'm not black, and so I have a different experience, and it's enlightening and inspiring and challenging for me to consider how we can be better equipped, and also what we as a course can learn as we are learning to listen more to different voices from different cultures and to think about the tension between being a group and being we and being individuals and I, and how that works together and how different people from different cultures experience that. Would you have any tips or advice for anyone who was thinking about applying or coming along behind you?
For me, LST, London School of Theology, is home. I have felt safe. you know, and if there's any black person out there who's listening to this, I have felt safe and accepted, and I think it's good grounds to learn, you know. I'd say take advantage of the open door policy here. It really is open, yeah. It's rare to find institutions where people are ready to listen, you know, hear you out and sort things out. And I've found LSD to be that for me. There's always the human and relational aspect to any learning. And some institutions are great academically, but then with the interpersonal relationships, that isn't there. But with LSD, I have found it to be all encompassing.
What was it like for you coming back to studying after a little while?
So that was what gave me the most apprehension, you know. Could I? How good is the brain still, you know? It was a bit of a struggle at first, you know, with time management, with the millions of things that I've had to do. But I have found that the way LSD is set up, you know, you can study and get on with several other things. As many people in my class, you know, it doesn't take you away from having a life. And so that I have appreciated.